Storyteller, otherwise known as my dance partner, Giany, Guedjo.
Well, my story is going to take you to Africa. And that's actually fitting because that's why I dress up in African clothes today. So I want you to imagine a little boy that was 16 years old in high school. And he was fortunate enough to have a teacher that was a Peace Corps volunteer from the United States. She came on February 14th. She came out and said, she dressed up in pink, and she came out and said, guys, why nobody is in pink or red? And we were like, what's the big deal? And she said, well, if you fly a helicopter over a high school in the United States today, you will see a blanket of pink and red. She described that picture so beautifully that boy think, okay, if it's that beautiful, I'm gonna go there one day. Eventually, the kid went back to school, stayed in school, graduated from high school, went to college, graduated for his master's, started working, but everything changed when his son was born. And by the way, I think by now you figured out that boy is me. So when my son was born, I came back from work and I sat there watching for 2 hours. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to offer him a better chance than I used to have. Of course, going to college in Benin. I'm from Benin, West Africa. Going to college, the first year in college was 2,500 students in one room. We are in a tropical area. Sometimes there's no microphone. Tropical area, sometimes you don't have a fan working. There's no air conditioning. So when you are in that classroom, to have a chance, when your class is at 8, to have a chance to hear the teacher, you have to be in class around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So we had to fight to go in school. I'm not going to use the next sentence because I will say here is a different story. But anyway, we fight to go to school. So for 4 years, that has been the battle. And when I finished my master's, I didn't want my kid to go through the same process. So I decided to do something different. And that thing different is to look for a way to get out of country. The very first opportunity that came up is moving into the United States. I have to make it short. I can't give you the details, but anyway, there's a program called the Diversity Program, and that's an immigration program here. When you apply for it, it's a lottery visa. It's also known as a lottery visa, and it's literally a lottery visa. Everybody that wants to move, they put their name in the bucket, and eventually, if your name is picked, you get to go. So some of you met my beautiful wife somewhere here today. If you see this kind of outfit somewhere, that's her. I put my name in the bucket, and I put her name in the bucket. Eventually, her name was picked. I came home and I said, sweetheart, we're moving. And she's like, okay, we're moving, okay. Where are we going? And I said, United States. And she's like, okay. I knew it, you know, I knew you were crazy. But I just didn't know you were that crazy to think, as a French person, we cannot move in the United States speaking English. It took me about 3 months to finally convince her that it is to happen. Fast forward, October 3rd, 2009, we end up in New York. We opened the gates and it was, those high rises and French speaking. In the process, she became pregnant, so We ended up with 4 suitcases, a baby 1 year and a half old, and a pregnant lady. We crossed half of New York lights with suitcases and babies crossing halfway, and I will carry two suitcases on the other side of the lights. And while she's walking with the baby, I will walk backward to get the 2 next one, and then we carry them and travel New York, half of the light between the airport and Greyhound. Eventually, a taxi man had to have seen us at the beginning, and he saw us again, and he's like, okay, where are you guys going? And with my broken English, I finally got to tell him we need to go to Greyhound. And he's like, okay, get in the car. We got in the car, and by the time when we get to the Greyhound, he said, this is it. And we got out, and I said, how much do I owe you? He said, sir, just take care of your family. Good luck in the United States. So, a part of the story is a journey where you take the first step, but you don't know what comes next, but you still take that step. It's a journey of faith where you just keep taking that step and keep taking the step. We literally knew one person, and that person was a family in Charlotte. The project I was working on in Africa, we had an assigned person that was a US citizen whose family lived in Charlotte. So we ended up in Charlotte with his parents, but we could only stay for 10 days because he was moving back to the United States with his wife. And within 10 days, we were able to find a place in Charleston, and then my first job was in Georgetown County. So I always say Georgetown County picked us. We really didn't pick Georgetown. My first job was working for Subway in Georgetown County, and eventually went back to school and became the director of Carolina Human Reinvestment. My passion for Carolina Human Reinvestment is connected to the roots of working with kids. I usually say my kids didn't choose to come in this country, so I always want to be a part of the solution of creating that environment where they can sustain when my wife and I are no longer around. So building communities is always a fun part for us. And having a community like Georgetown County to support us and welcome us in this community has been a blessing. More to the story, but thank you for having us tonight.
We're coming to the close of our program. I'm very sad.
Unfortunately, I am. But the next story is amazing. Not that your story wasn't amazing. That was really great. And I'm glad you guys came down and are investing into Georgetown County.